Hey everybody, this is Laney. Hope you all are well. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. In today's video, I will be talking about the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. His death sent shockwaves across the world. He was an African American, a civil rights leader, a father, a husband, and the head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Just after 6 p.m. on April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was fatally shot while standing outside on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. The civil rights leader was in Memphis to support sanitation workers' strike and was on his way to dinner when the bullet struck him in the jaw and severed his spine. Dr. King was pronounced dead at the hospital. He was only 39. In the month before his assassination, Dr. King became increasingly concerned with the problem of economic inequality in America. He organized the Poor People's Campaign to focus on the issue, and that also included the March on Washington. In March 1968, he traveled to Memphis to support the poorly treated African American sanitation workers. And at that march, an African American teenager was killed. Dr. King left the city and he vowed to return early in April to lead another demonstration. On April 3rd, back in Memphis, Dr. King gave his last sermon saying, "We got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know that we as a people shall get to the promised land. I have a dream tonight." That was his last speech. And the very day after that sermon, Dr. King was struck down, assassinated by a sniper. A few days after his assassination, the FBI caught up with James Earl Ray in Canada. Initially, James Earl Ray said that he did assassinate Dr. King. But 3 days later, he said that he did not. And a few years after that, Dr. King's wife and family members also agreed that they did not believe that James Earl Ray was the one that assassinated Dr. King. Dr. King had a few famous quotes, but one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King is, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Dr. King's birth name was Michael King Jr. He changed his name from Michael to Martin after his father adopted the name Martin in honor of Protestant leader Martin Luther. So there you have it. This month is April, the month that Dr. King was assassinated back in 1968. If you all have a chance, it would be worth it to go visit the Lorraine Motel. I took my family there a few years ago. The Cadillac that Dr. King was in is still there, sitting in front of the hotel. It's a museum like now. And also you can look in the room, I think it was 210. Dr. King had two rooms, 210 and 211. Those rooms are still sitting there. And the coffee cup that Dr. King used is still sitting there in that hotel. And we saw all of the memorabilia of the sanitation workers and all of the civil rights leaders. And after visiting that hotel, we went across the street in the same location where Dr. King was struck down and assassinated. Very powerful. Be well, stay safe, and stay in peace, not pieces. Hit that bell so you know every time I upload a video.